Field, where the Cubs are hoping to make it 2 in a row over these league-leading or division-leading Phillies today. It's going to be Carlton, a left-hander for the Phillies against Rick Russell of the Chicago Cubs. The leadoff man is brought to you by your local Z-Bart Auto and Truck rust-proofing dealers. We'll be talking to our guest, Bill Madlock of the Chicago Cubs, in just 1 minute. Bill Madlock is our guest today, and Bill asked yours truly if he could come on the leadoff man show today and offer an apology for what happened yesterday. And Bill would be the first to say, well, I just lost my cool. It was in the 10th inning with McGraw pitching, and the count was 0-2, I believe. We had 2 strikes on him, and a high inside pitch, which Bill ducked away from, went down, the ball hit his bat, and he was thrown out at first base. He was upset at the time with the score tied in extra innings in the 10th inning, and he wheeled his bat to the sideline, and it hit the wall. And, Bill, I think that you would like to offer an apology.
Yes, I would like to apologize to all the fans, because the fans in Chicago have really been great to me, and I'm really sorry the way I reacted on that situation, because I didn't mean, I meant to throw the bat. I can't say I didn't, but I didn't mean to throw, because before the game, Joe Wallace, I'm not making an excuse, Joe Wallace used pine tar, and he put some on my bat which I don't use, and I just happened to stick to my glove, and it went up, and I'm just like to apologize, especially for the fans sitting along the third base line, because they've been behind me ever since I've been here. I'd just like to apologize to them and all the fans, all the Chicago fans around the Midwest.
Well, that takes a man to do that, and you're just that. And I'm happy to say that I'm quite sure that all your fans would realize that in the heat of the battle, it's something that happened, and I'm quite sure that you've learned by that experience, and it will not happen again.
No, it won't happen again, because I was really great on my temper this year. I had really did a complete turnaround from last year. I did get upset on certain things that I shouldn't have last year, and I've just got to keep working on it like everybody else does. And I expect to be around Chicago a long time, and I feel they'll see me change throughout the years.
Well, we certainly hope that will come true. Did you have a talk with your skipper, Marshall?
All right. I talked to Jim, and he disciplined me, not because I'm not playing today, because I did hurt my back, but I have been disciplined by Jim Marshall and by the league for my family, because putting on Jim, I did a tremendous job with us, because we have got a young ball club, and I think just what he did with us is just fantastic. We're already playing good ball. Just for those 2 months that we played terrible, we're playing real good ball the rest of the season.
Now, when you say you were reprimanded by the club and by the league, are you saying that you were fined?
Well, I'm not saying that, because if anything want to come out there, come out. But I have been disciplined by Marshall and by the league.
All right, Bill. Now, what happened to you? You're not in the lineup today. Spearing is at third. You hurt your back?
I hurt my back the other day at home. I just bought a new home, and I was doing some work, which I shouldn't be doing during the season, but going down the basement, I slipped, and it's just a little muscle thing. I think probably the same thing Monday had. It shouldn't be too serious. I should be back there tomorrow at the doubleheader for Pittsburgh, which is going to be an important series for us.
And it's important that you have the back muscles in any athletic game, as well as even moving around the house, because lifting and movements, your swing and everything, it all develops right there in the back and in the hips. We're certainly glad that it's not serious. Bill, you're having another tremendous year. An opportunity to win a batting championship consecutive years is a great tribute to a young ball player such as you.
Right, it's a great tribute for us. Like I said before, you don't have to hit 350 or 330 to help a team win. What I'm really satisfied with my home runs and my RBIs, because I am up something like 20 RBIs, and that's what helps a team win when you're knocking runs, score runs. I'm still in more bases. That's why I'm really happy, especially my defense, because I have got praise on my defense this year, what I haven't got my first 2 years here.
You made a quick statement that you ran over very quickly your improvement on the bases. This is one thing that is very noticeable. You'll always be a good hitter, in my opinion, and you got that nice short stroke. You make contact. You don't have to hit the long ball. You will get your home runs, but improvement on the bases makes one an all-around ball player. You've increased your stolen bases. You've increased your speed in rounding bases. Did this go back to spring training?
Well, that go back to spring training. I think that's the only thing we really did get a chance to work on with Maury Wills. I think he did a tremendous job for us, because we got to be an aggressive ball club. We don't have a ball club that hit the ball out the park, except for Rick Money. Unfortunately, he's our leadoff man, but I like to think I think Rick going to lead the league in home runs this year. But with Maury Wills working on making our team more aggressive on the base pad, and one thing, Marshall gave him all the time he wanted and give him a chance to work with, which some managers don't do that.
What about the Chicago Cubs. We're not going to say for 76. What about for 77? Do we have the nucleus of replacing Philadelphia as the league leader at this particular point next year?
Well, you can look at it. I'm not going to lie to the fans. Not with the team we got now, and you know that. We got some spots in our lineup that need to be filled. We got, probably one guy in the bullpen. I think everybody thinks we need a left-handed reliever. I'm a left-handed reliever, so we just need a pitcher who can win consistent. I don't think right now we got the team to overtake a Philadelphia Pittsburgh right now, but who knows? A lot of free agents, and then there might be a few trades. Who knows? We might be in contention next year.
Let's hope so. Bill, I want to thank you very much and compliment you on being a man that you are, and know that when you made a mistake, you want to tell the folks here who have been real loyal Cub fans that you did.
All right, that's so. But just we can get them a winner here in the next year or so.
That's right. Thanks, Bill.
Okay, right, look. Right.
Bill Madlock was our guest. We'll be right back after this message. This has been the Leadoff Man, brought to you by the 24 Z-Bart rust-proofing dealers throughout Chicagoland. This season, the Leadoff Man is also brought to you by the 31 AMCO automatic transmission dealers of Chicagoland. Now stay tuned for Vince Lloyd and today's ball game between the Chicago Cubs and the Philadelphia Phillies. This has been a presentation of WGN Sports. This is WGN Radio Chicago.
Wow! Let's go! Batter up! We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a ball game, today. The fans are out to get a ticket or two. From Mall of Washington to Kalamazoo. It's a beautiful day for a home run, but even a triple's okay. We're gonna cheer and boo and raise a hullabaloo at the ball game today.
The Chicago Cubs are on the air. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome once more to exciting Major League Baseball. The Cubs and the Philadelphia Phillies, who are fighting at a very, very tough go in the Eastern Division race right now, going at it in the second game of this series. And as you know, Philadelphia will be here at Wrigley Field tomorrow for their final appearance of 1976 in Chicago. The very strange-looking lineup that Jim Marshall is having to send against the Phillies today because of numerous injuries. And we'll get to that batting order in just a little while. I'm Vince Lloyd, and along with Lou Boudreau, we welcome you to our broadcast. We've got a beautiful day for baseball and a real good turnout here at Wrigley Field. Somewhere, I would judge, before the day is over, of around 18,000 fans. The Cubs are hopeful of going over the million mark in paid attendance here tomorrow in the final game of this set. As you know, the Phillies lost in overtime yesterday, 4-3, while Pittsburgh last night defeated the New York Mets to pull to within 3 games of the Phillies in the Eastern Division. Our broadcast today from Wrigley Field is brought to you by True Value Hardware. If you use it in, on, or around your home, you'll find it in Payless Ford at True Value. The G. Heilman Brewing Company of La Crosse, Wisconsin, makers of Old Style, the pure brewed beer from God's Country. Your Chicagoland and Northern Indiana Buick dealers, who invite you to take your pick of free-spirited Buicks for 76. Skill Corporation. When you pick up a Skill power tool, you've just lost your amateur standing. Welcome to the pros. General Finance's 65 Chicagoland offices to borrow up to $10,000. Just call friendly Bob Adams at end over 32020. And by the Chicagoland McDonald's restaurants. Build your McDonald's character glass collection by visiting your Chicagoland McDonald's restaurant. Fans, our broadcast is authorized under rights granted by the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has a right of approval of the announcers for this event. It is solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of the game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited. First of all, the visiting Phillies lineup, one change in addition to the starting pitcher, of course, and that is in the catching department. Just about every game, I think, that Carlton has started this year, Steve Carlton, he has had as his catcher Tim McCarver, and they are not changing that routine today. Gary Maddox is going to be leading off. He was hitless yesterday in 5 at-bats. Maddox in center field, to be followed by second baseman Davy Cash. Mike Schmidt will be at third base. Batting third, and Greg Luzinski in the cleanup spot. Big fella out in left field. Jay Johnstone in right field. Johnstone batting fifth. Tim McCarver doing the catching, and McCarver batting sixth. Bobby Tolan will be at first base. Tolan hitting seventh. And Larry Boa, the shortstop, while he drove in the winning run in the ninth, or the tying run, I should say, in the ninth inning yesterday, Boa also lost a pop-up in the 12th inning that led to the game-winning run for the Cubbies. And he's not happy about that, of course. And Steve Carlton, the pitcher. And he's not only a very fine pitcher, but this tall veteran left-hander is a good hitter. But so is his mound opponent today, Rick Rutschel of the Cubs. Now, here's to that strange-looking Cub lineup. Rob Sperring will be leading off. Sperring at third base. Matlock up with a bad back, which he incurred in a fall on the stairs of his new home, going down into the basement area of it, or the rec room area of it. He slipped. He said told me those steps were quite precipitous, quite steep, and he just slipped and lost his footing, injured his back, and he is hopeful of getting back into that lineup no later than tomorrow. So Sperring taking his place at third and hitting in the leadoff position with Mick Kelleher at shortstop and Kelleher batting second. Manny Trio hitting in the number 3 position. Manny at second base, of course. Jerry Morales, who drove in the winning run yesterday, will be batting in the cleanup spot again today and playing in right field, with George Mitterwald doing the catching again. And talking with Steve Swisher, he said he feels okay, nothing wrong with him physically. But Marshall wants Mitterwald behind the plate, and noticing Mitterwald in batting practice today, he was hitting some cannon shots out of here. I hope that he can do it after the bell rings. Wayne Tyrone out in left field with the left-hander going. Marshall wanting to get Tyrone's right-handed bat into that lineup. And, of course, Jose Cardinal out for the rest of the year. And Jose, a very dejected young man sitting in the clubhouse today, not in uniform, of course. And he is hopeful that he will be getting some good news on that knee which he injured against this Philadelphia ball club over there in the 4-game set last weekend. But he is out of action right now, at least for the rest of this year. And at first base, a newcomer, Ed Putman. And I'm going to be fighting the habit of saying Putnam instead of Putman. It's Putman. Ed was the Cubs' number 1 draft choice in the secondary draft of January, just a couple of years ago. Young man who started this year with the Cubs Farm Club at Midland, Texas. He looked so good there, they moved him up to Wichita. He did a fine job there. He hit .293. Basically, Putman was signed as a catcher, but he played a lot of first base when he was at Midland under Doc Edwards, who was the skipper there for the Cubs. Ed played first base in about 40 or 44 ball games. And Edwards, his skipper there, said he did a very fine job. He recommended him very highly as a first baseman. So we're going to be getting a look at him today. He's a right-handed hitter. And that is the reason why he is starting rather than Jerry Tabb, the other rookie up from Wichita. And in case you missed it, Monday, of course, is out of action again because of the bad back, the muscle spasm that Monday incurred up in Montreal a couple of days ago. Rick took some batting practice today, said he felt fine, but then after he took the batting practice, Monday's back stiffened up on him again just a little bit. He said he did want to be available for pinch hitting duties today if required, but it remains to be seen whether or not he can be used. But 23-year-old, well, he's going to be 23 in one more week. Now, we'll call him 23. Ed Putman will be starting at first base, and that's our first look at him at that position. Both Lou and I did see Putman out in spring training this last year and the previous year, working with the Cubs as a catcher, but we did not see him working out at the position at first. And then batting eighth and playing in center field is Tarzan Joe Wallace, and he's got his ribs taped up pretty good, making a slide at the plate. He kind of injured himself a little bit, but not enough to keep him out of the lineup. So all in all, then Rick Rutschel, the pitcher. All in all, that's kind of a strange-looking Cub lineup. And once more, Marshall is battling physical problems, as he has throughout so much of this 1976 season. I'll repeat it for you. It's Sperring at third, Kelleher at short, Manny Trio at second, Morales in right, Mitterwald doing the catching, Wayne Tyrone in left field, rookie Ed Putman at first base, and rookie Tarzan Wallace in center field with Rick Rutschel, the pitcher. For the Phillies, now just 3 games ahead. Pittsburgh Pirates with some very stout pitching last night, both from Doc Medich, who shut out the New York Mets through the first 7 innings, got into a bit of a jam with 3 hits and a run against him in the 8th inning, and then Dave Justy came out of the bullpen, and the veteran right-hander put the Mets down the rest of that inning and in the ninth inning. And so the Pirates, just blazing along for the last 4 or 5 weeks, got themselves an important 4-1 victory. We'll be keeping watchful eye, much as possible today, on what goes on at New York as the Pirates are playing there this afternoon. The Phillies, you can tell now, are kind of a tight ball club. They are feeling the pressure. There's no doubt about it. How you could put your finger on it, how you could correct it, heaven only knows. Probably, Lou, the best thing that could happen with Danny Ozark and the Phillies today, and we certainly don't want it to happen against the Cubs, but so far as relaxing them a little bit would be if they were to come out and have one of those 4 or 5 run innings right off the bat. Maybe that would relax them.
Well, it would relax them, it seems like, for one game, Vince. We thought that shutting out the Cubs in our last game in Philadelphia, 8-0, certainly should have really relaxed them enough to continue on to win a few. They're going to lose a few, but they have to win a lot more than they lose.
Now, we still have a little time available to just meeting at home plate now. And for those of you on the network who missed it, a few minutes ago in Chicago on the leadoff man show that Lou does locally here before every Cub game, Bill Madlock got into a serious incident yesterday. He was so frustrated today, and when he was about his last time, he was backing away from a pitch, actually started to step into it. The ball hit his bat, and then while he was on the ground, he was thrown out on a bouncer back to the pitcher, and he disgustedly threw his bat, and it almost went into the crowd over on the third base side. He was very, very upset about it. And he asked Lou today if he could go on that leadoff man show with him here in Chicago to apologize publicly. And I thought that was a pretty big gesture on the part of this young man, Lou. I know it was a tough thing for him to do.
It had to be, Vince. He had to swallow a lot of pride to do this. But he did realize he lost his cool, but losing your cool is not excusable, even in a tough athletic contest, which we have here, and especially against Philadelphia, the division leaders. But he understood it afterwards, and he realized he made a mistake. I think Jim Marshall talked with him for some 45 minutes.
Yes, he did.
And talking to him about the incident. Now, he did tell me that he was reprimanded by the Marshall and also by the umpires or by the league, but he wouldn't admit to a fine. He said that would have to come publicly from those that have fined him.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that he has been fined, although we have no confirmation of it, both by the league and by the Cubs. But as I say, we have no confirmation of that. Now, our national anthem. Rick Russell out to the mound. We'll face Gary Maddox in a moment. Let's take time out for this message.
Get a Grimace glass this week at participating McDonald's in Chicagoland. Order a medium-sized soft drink in a McDonaldland glass for 49 cents plus tax. Keep the glass.
Gary Maddox yesterday was 0 for 5, and he is now stepping in, hitting .333 for the year, with a half a dozen homers and 66 runs batted in. Russell in the windup, the first pitch. Takes a strike, a fastball at the letters to the big right-hander, and we're underway. Russell having a good season, and a fastball for a strike call. 0-2. 13-10 for the year with 2 shutouts for the season. There's a swing and a let-up and a drive into left field. It's in for a base hit. Tyrone chasing it. Backhands the ball. Maddox rounding first. He'll go to second, and there'll be no play on him. on 0-2 after two good fastballs. Russell led up on one. He probably meant to waste it, but he didn't. Got it in the strike zone, and Maddox lines a double down the left field line, and that, for Mr. Maddox, is his 37th double of the year. A runner in scoring position for Davy Cash. Drove in a run yesterday with a ground out. Officially, the right-hander was 0 for 5. Tilts up at the bat about 4 inches. Takes the first pitch, a strike right down the middle. Russell, in his career, has beaten Philadelphia 9 times. Lost to them only once. Big right-hander ready. Here's the pitch. Cash takes, it's outside. Says it's Sudol, the plate umpire. Ball 1, strike 1. Cash hitting .273, 1 home run, 52 runs batted in. He's way up in the batter's box. Then deep from the waist, here's the pitch. Sinker swung on, bouncing ball. Second baseman Keller has it, has only one play. Goes to the first baseman, the rookie Ed Putman. Cash is out, but he advances Maddox to third, and that will bring up Mike Schmidt. Schmidt yesterday, 0 for 5. Struck out once. He even tried to reach with a month single. The game tied up. Here's a guy that you expect in a spot like that to be swinging for the fences. So apparently he's lost a little confidence. Still leads the league with 35 home runs, one more than Dave Kingman of the Mets. Deep in the hole is Kelleher. First pitch, he dribbles one foul on the first base side, a little spinner. Picked up by Putman in front of the first base coach, Bobby Wine. Billy DeMars coaching over at third. Schmidt has driven in 95 runs this year. I mentioned the fact that he had struck out yesterday one time only because he has now fanned 133 times this year. One of the things that he would like to cut down on considerably. Number of strikeouts. But he has good speed. And if he rolls one softly in that left side, I doubt if Kelleher could throw him out. There's a swing and a bouncing ball. Past the third baseman. Skips on to the outfield grass. Philadelphia leads. Schmidt makes a turn and holds. A blistering shot to the shortstop's side of Rob Sperry. Caromed away from him, bounced up in the air, wound up in the outfield grass. He got that ball about a foot off the end of the bat. It is a base hit, and it's 1-0 Philadelphia, with Luzinski stepping in. 96 runs batted in now for Mike Schmidt. That brings up Luzinski batting .302. The big fellow was 1 for 3 yesterday. And, of course, he grew up here in the Chicago area, started in high school at Notre Dame, and he says he probably left about 20 passes for today, and he said, with all the people who have called me and said, remember me, Greg? He says, I was with you at so-and-so and so-and-so, and he says, I was never there. Here's a swing and a double play ball to Manny Trio. Over to shortstop for one, and a throw bouncing over into first base, pulls Putnam off the bag. I mentioned that Schmidt has good speed, and it was his good speed that time on a softly hit sinker to the second baseman Trio that prevented the Cubs from coming up with a double play. As he went barreling into Kelleher and took him out real good. But Luzinski said he still had to leave about 20, 25 passes for close friends and relatives here. Plus, there's a busload of fans that came in here for this game today and tomorrow from Reading, Pennsylvania, over near Philly. Jay Johnstone steps in, and he takes the first pitch of ball too low. Left-hander. 1 for 4 yesterday. Johnstone is now batting .321 for the year. 5 homers and 51 runs batted in. The pitch, all outside. 2-0 on Jay Johnstone. Good hitter. Philadelphia is captured a 1-0 lead with 2 out here in the top of the first inning. Russell's next delivery gets under it. Gets a deep high foul way down the right field side, out of play. Ball 2, strike 1. In that American League Western Division last night, Kansas City turned in a win over the White Sox, while the Oakland A's lost to Gaylord Perry and the Texas Rangers. Kansas City now with a 5.5 game lead over Oakland in the American League Western Division. 2-1 pitch. Johnstone swings. A drive into right field, a base hit. Here's Luzinski stopping at second base. That is the third hit of the inning. And it brings up Tim McCarver a left-hander who's always a catcher for Steve Carlton. Let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio in Chicago.
McCarver got into yesterday's ball game as a pinch hitter and drew a walk. He's batting .257 for the year. Couple of homers, 25 runs batted in. Lozinski at second base, and the speedy J. Johnstone at first. Carver, of course, a left-hander. Russell into the stretch. The big fella's first pitch swung on. He bounces one down to the first baseman. Putman has it on the short hop, makes the unassisted put out, and looks pretty good doing it. Good sinker by Rick. 1 run on 3 hits for the Phillies. They leave 2 men stranded, and after a half inning of play, the Cubs come to bat against Steve Carlton, Sparing, Kelleher, and Trio, the first 3 Cub hitters. Phillies with a 1-0 lead.
Well, my friends, now you can have a phone in just about every room without waiting or paying for installation. True Value Hardware stores offer telephone extension cords, jacks, and plugs from Pacific Electric Cord. Attach them to your phone and walls, and you can carry the phone with you from room to room for greater privacy and convenience. It's almost like having a phone in every room. True Value Hardware stores offer plugs that fit any standard phone and jacks you can mount on your walls and attach to incoming lines. Get several, so you can use your phone in many different rooms. True Value Hardware stores also offer 25-foot phone extension cords from Pacific Electric Cord. Choose the wire-in type or the plug-in type for jack outlets. Enjoy the luxury of having a phone in every room. Get Pacific Electric Cord jacks, plugs, and extension cords at participating True Value Hardware stores. True Value, more than just a name, it's their way of doing business.
Oh, I tell you, with the injuries that the Cubs have incurred this year, almost throughout the season, or illnesses, and right now, this lineup kind of reminds you of one that you might see out in spring training. But you never know what's going to happen. The fact that you have a lot of fellows in there today who normally would not be starting doesn't mean that the Phillies are any cinch to win by any stretch of the imagination. Sparing leading off, and right-hander batting .269, did not get a chance to bat yesterday. Fastball from Carlton, and the left-hander misses high, ball 1. Welcome to the Peabody Little League from North Manchester, Indiana, sitting here today. 1-0 pitch. Rob swings and misses. Carlton coming in tight to him with that one. Ball 1, strike 1. Rob with 7 runs batted in, has 18 hits since the Cubs brought him up. Good utility ball player. 1-on delivery. Swung on, a drive into center field. Maddox coming in. It is dropping, a base hit. Out of the reach of Cash and Maddox. They lost it momentarily, but Maddox scrambled wildly, picked it up, and threw while he was in the seat of his pants to second base. Sparing had made the turn and saw that he had no chance to stretch that Texas leaguer into a double. But he's on at first base. That brings up Mick Kelleher. Normally, Kelleher will hit in the 8th spot. Today, batting second. Yesterday, he was 0 for 5, and Mick steps in with a rather anemic batting average of .230 for the year with 18 runs batted in. Remember, the Phillies be here again tomorrow. He squares away, pushes the butt, and it's fouled back out of play. It's Sudol. Plate umpire grabbing it. Ray Burris is scheduled to go tomorrow for the Cubs against a tough right-hander, Jim Lomborg. That ought to be a great pitcher's battle tomorrow. We see Jose Cardinal standing in the aisle right behind the home plate screen, right near the hot dog vendor. Good place to be. Throw to first. Look out, Rob. Carlton with a good move. And a throw to Bobby Tilden. Jack Bloomfield coaching at first base. Harry Dunlop coaching at third. Maddox very shallow in center. Here's the kick to pitch. Fastball. He tops one of the third base side of the mound. Picked up by Mike Schmidt. Here's a quick throw. He's got him on a good play by Schmidt, who wound up past home plate with the momentum that he had on that one. And the quickness of the third baseman there, Lou, helped him to make that play.
Yes, indeed, and he got a nice high bounce.
Sparing at second base, tying run there. Manny Trio hitting third today. Yesterday, Manny had a couple of hits. His batting average standing at .236. He has 4 homers and 36 runs batted in. That's got to be wrong. I know I'm wrong with that.
56.
56, that's better. I can't read. Not only can't talk, can't read. He swings. Ground ball to second baseman. Cash is up with it. Sparing will stop at third. And there are 2 gone. One after the first pitch, grounded out to Davy Cash. That'll bring up Jerry Morales, who drove in the winning run in the 12th inning yesterday as he pulled a single through the left side. Morales hitting .270. That RBI was his 62nd of the year. He has 15 home runs. Wind today is coming in a little bit from the right field corner, from right to left. Here's the pitch. Sinks a little low. Ball 1. Wendy's basketball teams are here today. 15 boys having basketball tryouts. A little later on, 1-0 pitch. High with a fastball, 2-0. They'll be having them Wednesday night. Tryouts for boys 10 to 23 for the upcoming season. Be at St. Catherine, St. Lucie Gym in Oak Park at 34 North Austin Avenue. Morales takes in there as a ball. Ball 3, no strikes. If you want to try out for the Windy team, it'll be Wednesday night. Your age of 10 to 23. There's a pitch low. Looked like Carlton wanted no part of Morales. 4 pitches and he walks him. Semi-intentionally. That brings up George Minderwald, who was really crashing some shots today in batting practice. Let's see if he can do it in the game.
WGM Radio, Chicago.
George did not play yesterday. Batting average has dipped down to .210. He has 5 homers, 25 runs batted in. Here's the pitch. Fastball, tried to hold up and he swing, and apparently he did in time. It's too low, ball 1. 1-0 delivery to the right-hander. Carlton fired. Curve broke down abruptly. That looked like it fell right off the table. And he swung and missed. That ought to be almost illegal. Carlton ready. Here's the delivery. Fastball and he's low. Ball 2, strike 1. He has missed downstairs with that twice, and Mitterwald wouldn't go after it. Greg Lazinski, very deep in left field. Maddox over in the left center. They give Mitterwald the right field line. 2-1 delivery. And he fouls it into the upper deck, behind the plate. And that's the first time that Carlton has come up above the belt to Mitterwald. It levels the count at 2-2. When his fastball is working right, he can do that. He can come up with it, and generally it'll rise. 2-2 delivery. Swung out and missed. That one broke down again. And he strikes him out to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left on. At the end of 1 full inning of play at Wrigley Field in a real good house here this afternoon, Phillies come to bat. They lead 1-0. Bobby Tolan, 7th man in Danny Ozark's batting order, is going to be leading off. Veteran playing at first base. A left-hander, 0 for 5 yesterday. And he's hitting .248 for the year with 5 home runs and 32 runs batted in. He'll be followed by Larry Boa and then the pitcher, Steve Carlton. The Phillies jumped on Russell in the first inning. A double by Maddox. Got to third on Cash's ground out. Tilden fakes the bunt and he takes the first pitch of strike. Then an infield single by Mike Schmidt brought in Maddox. Sidearm pitch swung on, and he bounces one to Manny Trio. He's up at the toss over to first base, over to Putman, and there's one away. Russell's best pitch is a good sinking fastball. And when he is on, you'll often look at your scorecard if you're keeping score, and you say, man, there have been a lot of groundouts. If he doesn't get a lot of them, that sinker is not working for him. Boa stepping in. Victimized by that foul, or by that pop-up in the 12th inning yesterday, off the bat of Champ Summers, and it led to the game-winning run, but earlier he tied up the game with a triple in the 9th. First pitch to him, a ball outside, and he takes a strike.
You know, in reading the reports, he told a newspaper reporter that he lost the ball in the sun, and yet in pictures and replay, he has his glasses on. I wondered why he didn't flip them.
I don't know.
He should have flipped the glasses down
Yeah.
with the ball hit like that. Because he was staggering under it.
He sure was. Here's a swing and a bouncing ball to Russell. Rick has him out easily. You got to remember, with the sun being in a position there to bother him, I thought the wind was giving him fits the way to moving the ball back in, and he seemed shaky all the time under it, Lou.
Yeah, when he mentioned the sun, and I saw the glasses in the picture on his the head, but he never had him flip.
No. Carlton, a good hitter, steps in. Left-hander takes. Ball outside. 1-0. He's batting .218 with 17 hits and 6 runs batted in. He swings on that pitch, and he taps it out towards the mound. Russell picks it up. Rick has him pegged out easily. And Putnam tosses him the ball. 3 groundouts in the second inning. 2 of them out to the mound. So it's an easy second, and the Cubs come to bat in the bottom of the second inning at Wrigley Field. Tyrone is going to lead off. Phillies lead 1-0.
They're all new, all Buick, and all great. Take Buick's sporty little Skyhawks and Skylarks. Really fun to drive. With Buick's exclusive Economy V6 engine, they're as economical as can be in town or on the open road. Next size up, there's the Buick Century and the Buick Regal, also with the Economy V6. Here, your Buick dealer offers you 2 super-spirited cars, engineered for lighter weight, greater fuel economy, and low price. Yet they're loaded with luxury car features. See for yourself. See your Buick dealer today. He's got the car you want.
You're always a winner at Buick. You know we've got a car for you. And when you drive a Buick, our reputation rides with you.
Wayne Tyrone stepping in, playing in left field today. Since the Cubs brought him up from Wichita, this young right-hander, dozen hits, including a homer, driven in 8 runs, batting .245. Takes the first pitch a strike. Carlton can be an awfully tough pitcher. He beat Montreal in his last outing earlier in the week. Fastball swung on, he pops it up. Tolan, the first baseman, going out. Cash is there, but it's Bobby Tolan. Makes the catch a few feet out in the grass. Well, he's got that good rising fastball, at least at the outset of the game. That brings up Ed Putman. At Midland, he hit .273. When they moved him up to Wichita, he hit .293. Started out as a catcher in the Cub organization, converted to first base, and he can handle either position. Right-handed hitter. Takes the first pitch a strike, just above the knees. 1 for 1 since the Cubs brought Ed up from Wichita. Going to be 23 years old in just 1 week. There's a swing and a tap foul. He went after one up around the letters. Strike 2 count on him. Pretty well put together. About 6'1", 190. They list him at 6'1", although I don't think he's that tall. He looks more like about 5'11" and 3/4.
Could be. With your glasses on, I'd have to say you're right.
Foul ball, that one into the upper deck on the first base side. This is the NBC game of the week. Old curly top, Joe Garagiola here with Tony Kubek. This is the scene of some of Joe's greatest days.
Where? On the bench, you mean?
Yeah. 1-2 pitches inside. He used to say he always sat down in the bullpen. It was more fun down there. 2-2 delivery. Swung on at a deep drive into right center field. Maddox on the run. Johnstone Tulsa. They collide. And Maddox looks like he may be hurt. They held on to the ball. He still got it. But he was hit by Jane Johnstone, and Maddox still on his side out in right center field. Philadelphia trainer running out there to him immediately, and Danny Ozark comes jogging out of the dugout. They cannot afford any injury particularly to a Gary Maddox, who has been one of their most consistent hitters all season long and certainly an outstanding center fielder.
Well, he twisted his complete body. Neck went wheeling to the right, and he twisted around.
I'm not so sure he didn't catch a knee or a thigh right around the area of the head or shoulders. Neck flew. Boy, he got a pretty good shot there. And he managed somehow to hold on to the ball. Well hit shot. Well, they're tending him out there, and we hope that he's going to be okay. We want to thank the village of Stone Park and their president, William Francione, who is here today. He's the mayor of Stone Park, the president of the group that's out here today. 60 of their baseball little leaguers, several parents and managers, all rooting for a Cub victory, and our thanks to all of those folks there in Stone Park and the mayor for their kind words about our broadcast. All of the Phillies huddled around Gary Maddox out there, injured in a collision as he caught a drive off the bat of rookie Ed Putman, collided with right fielder Jay Johnstone. From Rock Falls, Illinois, we have the Little League Cubs here today. They're in uniform with their manager, James Hay, and their coach, Don Stevens. Mr. Hay has managed Little League Cubs over in Rock Falls, he tells us, for a dozen years. The boys over here, Jeff Hay, Jeff Stevens, Chuck Slager, Steve Goss, Mike Leaf, Eddie Nelson, Eddie Nussbaum, Martin Cassini, Tracy Porter, Dennis Schwamp, all Little League Cubbies. And who knows but what one of them or more may someday be Major League Cubbies. We hope so. Maddox took an awful hard shot. It appeared to be the thing that hurt him the most was the knee of Johnstone as they were scissoring, going towards one another after that ball off the bat of Ed Putnam. Maddox is now standing. We don't see anybody warming up for the Phillies. So hopefully he'll be able to stay in the ball game. Tomorrow morning, by the way, Ray Meyer, the head coach at DePaul University, great basketball man and a great individual, is going to be honored tomorrow morning at the Evanston Holiday Inn at a brunch by the B'nai B'rith Council of Greater Chicago as the 1976 Sportsman of the Year. And the Cub fans showing that they are good sportsmen as they applaud Gary Maddox as the tall young man gets to his feet. Took a pretty good shot, and he's going to stay in the ball game. My friend Gordy Rosenberg, the chairman of that event tomorrow, honoring Ray Meyer. I'd like you plan to go out there tomorrow morning and then come out and see the Cubs and the Phillies meet for the last time in the season here at the ballpark tomorrow. Just a reminder, next Tuesday we have a doubleheader. It's not only going to be Senior Citizens Day, but the Pittsburgh Pirates, making such a tremendous run at the Phillies, will be here for 2 games. And the first one, of course, will get underway at 12 o'clock noon, and Lou and I will be on the air locally, 11:40 Tuesday morning, and network airtime Tuesday, 11:55 a.m. Your day to enjoy 2 games for the price of one. Who's it going to be, the Phillies or the Pirates, going against Cincinnati? And which one of them is going to be representing the National League in the World Series this year? We're ready to go. And Carson Wallace stepping in, batting .252. Fastball swung on. He lines a base hit into left field. A shot to Lizitsky. Out of the reach of the soaring Mike Schmidt, the third baseman. Carson jumping on that pitch with one of the best swings, Lou, we've seen from him as a right-hander all year.
Yeah, he made up his mind to swing, and he did that. That's been his trouble, I believe, right-handed. He's hesitating, trying to pick up the ball. When he does pick up the ball, it's too late. He can't pull the trigger.
Here's Rick Russell. He swings at a ground ball, base hit. Through the hole in the left field. As we mentioned, both Carlton and Russell, the 2 pitchers here today, are not only good pitchers, but they're both good hitters. And Russell jumped on that first pitch and sent one between Schmidt and Boa. That's his 16th hit of the year. With 2 out, Carlton has run into a bit of trouble as he has yielded a single to Wallace and a single to the pitcher. And now Rob Sperring, who opened up the first inning with a single into center field, steps in. He'll have a chance to tie up the ball game or give the Cubs a lead. Congratulations to Henry Aaron. Great night for him in Milwaukee last night, and what he is doing in setting up a youth fund in Milwaukee with the proceeds from the Henry Aaron last night at County Stadium. Tremendous thing for Henry to do, and you'd expect it from a guy as great as he is. Sperring takes the fastball a little high. He's not taking any automobiles or boats or anything else, any cash. Everything is to be turned over to this educational fund. 1-1 pitch. Takes it high, ball 2, strike 1. Cub runners at first and second. Cubs are batting in the second inning. Philadelphia leading 1-0. 2-1 delivery. Sperring goes after the fastball, fouls it back up out of play. Breeze today picking up a little bit now since the game has started, and it is coming in from right field. Carlton ready. Hicks delivers. There's one that sinks sharply out of the strike zone. Low. Ball 3, strike 2. With 2 out, Tarzan at second base and Russell at first base will be off with the pitch. Here it is. Sperring takes ball 4 inside to load him up. All of this has started after the first 2 batters are retired. Here's Mick Kelleher. Bounced out to Mike Schmidt. When he topped the ball, then Schmidt raced in and made a very fine play to retire him. Make the right-hander. Here's the windup. Carlton's first pitch. He takes the fastball for a strike just on the inside corner. Maddox shallow for him in center. Goes Johnstone and right. Kelleher steps out of the batter's box for a moment. He got a speck of something in his eye. Now we're ready. Wind up in the strike 1 pitch. Almost in the same spot. This time he missed the corner inside. It's 1-1. Tying run. Tires Wallace at third. 1-1 delivery. Tries to hold up and he can't do it. That pitch almost in the same spot again. It was out of the strike zone, I believe, but he did not hold up and he swung in time. Ball 1, strike 2. Russell at second base. Rob Sperring over at first. Swing and a miss. Carlton got it. He put every pitch in almost the same spot, jamming him with it and keeping it below the belt. And he gets out of the second inning jam. The Cubs do not score. 2 hits, a walk, and 3 men left on. The Cubs already have left 5 men on base. And at the end of 2 at Wrigley Field, the Phillies lead 1-0. There are a lot of Philly fans who have come over today by bus from Pennsylvania, and a few or more of them may have flown in. But a few of them are holding up banners, various description, over on the first base side, letting the Phillies know that they're still rooting for them. Boy, they gave this club a big standing ovation in the first game we played against them last Thursday night at Philadelphia when they'd come off of that horrendous road trip. Then the next night there were a few boos directed at them also. Maddox stepping in. He swings at a high fly ball to Tires Wallace. He has the glasses down in center field. He's under it, makes the catch. Maddox doubled and scored in the first inning. He goes after Russell's first pitch here and flies away. That'll bring up Davy Cash, who's grounded out to the shortstop. Baby yesterday 0 for 5. Way up in the batter's box. Swings and he tops a ground ball on the third base side. It's going to be a tough play. Russell picks it up and he has no play at first base. Ball wound up about 20 feet away from the plate. And Davy Cash has himself an infield dribbler. A little single. That brings up Mike Schmidt. Got his 96th run batted in for the year in the first inning with a hard shot off of glove of Sperring at third. Bounced away from him onto the outfield grass for a single. Russell's first pitch, way outside. Cash not going. Has good speed, but he doesn't steal much. And, of course, when you got a guy like Schmidt in the batter's box, a home run hitter, most of the time this season, didn't have to steal. There's a toss to first base, and he falls back in safely. Tyrone playing Schmidt to pull. He's very deep in left field. Tars Wallace deeper than normal in left center. There's the pitch. He swings, and he tops one on the first base side of the mound. That's going to be a tough play. Trio picks it up. Barehand throw. And he's got him. Boy, that was close. Manny Trio charging in on the grass. Had no time at all except to do just exactly what he did. Make the quick barehand pick up and throw all in the same motion. Runner at second base. Schmidt is tossed out on a fine play by Manny. And that brings up Greg Luzinski. He forced Schmidt at second base in the first inning. First pitch to him, a strike. Let me tell you, he fills out that uniform. He's got thighs that are on. There's a swing and a foul off his leg. Thighs that look almost as big as my stomach. Almost, I said.
Both of them put together.
He and Ted Kluszewski, now batting coach of the Phillies, have to be two of the most muscular guys that ever played this game. And he hits from kind of a sitting position. There's a swing and a miss. He went after a good fastball away, and he strikes out. That for Rick, his first strikeout of the day. He leads the ball club pitching staff in strikeouts. That's his 134th of the year. In the third, no runs, one hit. One man left on, and the Cubs come to bat. Bottom of the third inning, we'll see Trio, Morales, and Mitterwald against Carlton. The Phillies still lead 1-0. Manny Trio is going to be leading off. Salu and Oakland lost last night to Texas by 1 run. One inning, they had 3 hits and a walk, and they failed to score. They ran themselves right out of the inning, didn't they?
Yes, they did. That happens with speed. And, of course, they've been running all year.
Yeah, that's what has kept them up there, as a matter of fact, as they're running. Here's a pitch. Swung on. He fouls it out of play to the right side. I think Campaneris had opened up the inning with a single. Tried to steal, was thrown out. Bill North followed with a base hit. Tried to steal, was thrown out. And they had a single and a walk after that. Or a walk and a single. But they couldn't score. And they lost it by a run. Trio takes, and there's the ball. Ball 1, strike 2 on Manny. Good house here today. Carlton over the top of that pitch, swung on, and a little looper in the right field coming in. Jay Johnstone hard. He's there. He's got it. Phillies pecking around. Here's Jerry Morales, who walked in the first inning. With a man in scoring position and 2 out, Carlton pitched around him. Turned out to be a smart move because he then struck out Mitterwald to retire the side. Cubs and the Phillies here tomorrow. Jim Lombard, great right-hander against Cubs' great right-hander, young Ray Burris. And both are tough. First pitch of ball to Morales. Carlton winds. Here's a delivery. Fastball for a strike called. Ball 1, strike 1. 1-1 delivery. Swung on, a drive down the left field corner. Luzinski giving chase to it, has the glasses down, up near the wall. He backhands it for the out. Very fine play by Luzinski. Had to battle the elements and the wall down there as it's right near the foul line. But he reached across and backhanded it beautifully. 2 away. And that brings up Mitterwald. Cub skipper Jim Marshall last night up at Crystal Lake talking to the Little Leaguers up there in Crystal Lake at their annual banquet. And he said he just had a tremendously fine evening and wanted to publicly thank the all of the people who attended that dinner last night in Crystal Lake and were so nice and pleasant to him and made it a very enjoyable evening. That pitch of fastball is high, ball one. 2 out, bases empty. Here's the pitch that he takes inside. Ball 2, strike 1. Two out. Carlton fires. There's a swing and a drive into center field. Boy, wish we could have gotten that one in the first inning. He got it up a little bit. And Mitterwald lined it away. Tyrone stepping in. He swings and misses. That ball broke down sharply. Cynthia Matlock, Bill's wife, and 2 of the youngsters in the aisles down here, and she's just about to have another one not too many weeks hence. 0-2 the count. Tyrone checks his swing. Strike 3, a fastball over the outside corner, and that retires the side. Oh, and he wants to bring it. He really can do it. He has 3 strikeouts through the first 3 innings, and the Cubs shut out in the third, leave a man on, have 4 hits, and have left 6 men stranded, not taking advantage of any opportunities. Or maybe you could say Carlton is just shutting the door on them. In any case, at the end of 3, the Phillies have a 1-0 lead.
Flashes to go, flashes to go. McDonald's at McDonaldland. Flashes to go, get the mayor, Big Mac, and even Ronald. A different glass every week at McDonald's.
Kids really love McDonaldland glasses. They've got their McDonaldland friends on them.
Wow, it's Ronald McDonald. And the granite. Mayor McCheese. I got Captain Crook. It's Big Mac.
Oh, boy, it's the Hamburglar.
And not surprisingly, adults love them too. So come into a participating McDonald's and collect the whole set. You'll make everyone in your family happy.
Oh, thanks, Mo.
Jay Johnstone, the lead off, and our thanks here to the groups from Great Lakes. Bill Jacobson, group leader, #1 Cub fan, he says. Thanks for another year of broadcasting. Boy, tomorrow's going to be some sporting day in Chicago, Lou. The Cubs and the Phillies, and then the Blackhawks tomorrow night against Montreal, huh?
Yes, and also the Bears on radio.
Oh, yeah.
WGN Radio, Chicago.
Yeah, that'll be on in Chicago, starting at 3, and our broadcast will follow that tomorrow night, or evening sometime. All right, good kid, come on in here. Hold these guys. Maybe we can get a run or two.
Johnstone leads off for the Phillies in the 4th inning. Phillies lead 1-0. Russell's pitch on its way. Johnstone swings, lines that ball to left field. Tough play for Tyrone. Moving quickly to his right. He dives. He misses the ball. It goes against the wall. Johnstone's going to try for 3. He's round second, goes into third without a play as the throw is wild in the third. So Johnstone opens up the 4th inning with a triple to left field. That's his 2nd hit of the day. And for Johnstone, that's his 4th triple. McCarver now will bat, and that's the 5th hit off Russell. Marshall is playing his infield halfway. Nobody out. Russell got McCarver to ground out to Putman, the first baseman. Here's the first pitch now to McCarver. Strike call. Right over the heart of the plate. Russell has his work cut out for him. He's into the stretch. Here's the strike 1 pitch. High. 1-1 to count. To McCarver. Nobody out. Johnstone at third base. Cubs infield halfway. There's a swing and a fly ball deep to right field. This should score Johnstone. Morales is there on the warning track. Makes the catch. No play. as John Stone just jogs in to score the second run for the Phillies. They now lead 2-0. A sacrifice fly by McCarver drives in his 26th run of the season. Now here's Bobby Tolan at bat. Thus far in the first 3 1/3 inning, it's been the extra base hit that has hurt Russell. Leadoff double by Maddox. Here's a swing and a miss by Tolan, strike one. He eventually scored in the first inning, and now a triple by John Stone, and he scores. Tolan takes strike two over the outside corner. The pitch. Pop foul right beneath our radio booth. 0-2 the count. Phillies have given Carlton a 2-0 lead. Russell into the windup, the pitch. Tolan swings and misses, striking out. That is the second strikeout for Russell, and now with 2 outs in the inning, here's Boa. Boa grounded back to Russell, his first time at bat in the second inning. Philadelphia 2, Cubs nothing. Fourth inning. Strike called as Russell jumps out in front of Boa. Spearing, the third baseman, in on the edge of the grass at third. Fake bunt, takes the pitch outside. 1-1 to count. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swinging a line drive to right center. Morales coming in. He makes a backhanded shoestring catch. What a play by Morales. He never quit on that line drive. He came charging in, reached backhanded to make a shoestring backhanded catch for the out. Fine play. In the fourth inning, 1 run, 1 hit. Nobody left on base for the Phillies. Cubs come to bat. Fourth inning, trailing. It's the Philadelphia Phillies 2, Chicago Cubs nothing.
You know, fans, not all batteries are created equal. Some last a lot longer than others, like the unequaled Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cell batteries from your nearby True Value Hardware. They're unequal because they use a chemical system that's entirely different from that of regular batteries. The extra power they provide makes them ideal for portable radios, tape recorders, any device that you use frequently or for long periods of time. And maybe even more important, they'll hold their power for months when not in use, so they're perfect for devices that you use infrequently, like calculators and cameras. True Value Hardware stores offer Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cell batteries in popular C, D, and AA sizes. So you'll get power you can depend on with the battery that was created more equal than others. Ever-Ready Alkaline Power Cell batteries are just one of the many values you'll find at the participating True Value Hardware store near your home. True Value, more than just a name, it's their way of doing business.
Young Putman will lead off the fourth inning. Maddox moved over into right center to haul down his fly ball and collided with Johnstone. A few minutes delay until he was given first aid by the trainer, and he has continued on to play center field. Here's a swing and a miss on the first fastball by Carlton. Strike one. Putman will be followed by Wallace and then Russell. Strike one pitch. Curveball, swing and a ground ball to shortstop. Boa has it on a high hop. Throws to first in time. 1 out. Joe Wallace, who singled into left field, will be the hitter. Philadelphia 2, Cubs nothing. We're in the fourth inning. Both Madlock and Monday out with strained back muscles. As to how long they'll be out, it is a day-to-day proposition. Here's a swing and a foul out of play. Carlton into the windup. The southpaw delivers. Curveball swing, a foul ball. Line drive into the Cubs bullpen. Strike two. Wallace now behind Carlton 0-2. High fastball outside as he wasted it. It's ball one, strike two. Rush will do up next, waiting in the on-deck circle. There's a check swing, and it's ball high. 2-2 the count on Joe. The pitch. Curveball, a swing and a foul. Once again down the left field line. Cubs will close out their series with the Phillies tomorrow afternoon. Game time 1:15. Burris against Lonborg. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Wallace strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Carlton. He has 1 in each inning thus far. Here's Russell, who singled into left field, his first time at bat. The pitch. Outside, ball one. As Sudol, the plate umpire, indicates the ball was outside. Russell swings on the next fastball and fouls it in the upper deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Phillies 2, Cubs nothing. Here's a swing and a ground ball to Cash at second. He has it, fires it to Tolan for the out. Cubs go down 1-2-3. In the 4th inning, no runs, no hits, nobody left on base. At the end of 4 complete innings of play, Philadelphia has 2 runs on 5 hits. Cubs, no runs on 4 hits.
Big league trades often come as a surprise to ballplayers, especially to the established old pro who may have been resting on his laurels. But sometimes a change of scene is good for a player, and a new face in the lineup is just the tonic the lethargic ball club needs. Of course, when it comes to beer, it's safe to say there's one trade you'll never make. Because once you experience the great light taste of Heilmann's Old Style beer, you'll sign a lifetime contract. Old Style is a hit right off the bat because it's brewed with water that flows sparkling pure from deep underground springs. Water that some folks say comes all the way from Canada. With water like this, when you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. But when you brew a beer twice, you've got a great light beer. This double brewing, pure brewing, is an old world process known as krausening. And Heilmann's Old Style is one American premium beer that is still fully krausened, naturally carbonated in the old world way. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country.
Rick Russell has completed his warm-up tosses, and he'll face his pitching opponent, Steve Carlton, now to lead off the 5th inning for the Phillies. It'll be Carlton, Maddox, and Cash. Carlton grounded back to Russell his first time at bat. Philadelphia 2, and the Chicago Cubs nothing. Carlton fakes a bunt, takes the pitch for a strike. Spearing at third, Kelleher at short, Trio at second, Putman at first. Here's a swing and a miss on a low curveball, strike 2. Wallace playing very shallow for Carlton. Swing and a miss, Carlton strikes out. 3 strikeouts for Russell. Now the top of the order, Maddox, who opened up this game with a double down the left field line and eventually scored in the 1st inning on Smith's infield hit. Then Maddox flied out to Wallace in center field in the 3rd inning. First pitch by Russell is a swing and a tap foul right next to the Cubs dugout. Maddox, a tremendous leadoff man, hitting .333 with 6 home runs, 66 RBIs. There's a high fastball, ball 1. But he has stolen 27 bases. And he has walked 40 times. There's a ball high. He was going to swing. Foul ball. It's called a foul ball by Sudol, and it's strike 2. One out, nobody on base. 5th inning. The pitch by Russell. Swinging a high pop-up in the short right field. Morales charging the ball. Slows up. He's under it. He makes the basket catch for the out. 2 outs now in the 5th inning, and here's Davy Cash. 1 for 3. Philadelphia scoring 1 run in the 1st and 1 in the 4th. Cubs have yet to dent the plate off Carlton. Two outs here. Cash the hitter. Cubs play Cash straight away. There's a swing and a fly ball in the deep center field, but Wallace is going back. He's under it, and he has it for the out. In the 5th inning, the Phillies go down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. Cubs now will come to bat, trailing the Phillies 2-0.
Mr. Merkel?
Yes, Miss Plusker?
Call me Ellen.
Right.
The entire office is just thrilled for you.
What?
That you got a Buick Century Special with Landau top, automatic transmission, power steering.
Right. My Buick dealer...
And the economical V6 engine.
You see, my Buick dealer...
Want me to work late or rub your back?
No, that's quite all
I
right.
love you.
Merkel.
Oh, hi, J.G.
Just heard about it, you son of a gun.
Oh, you don't mean...
The Century Special deal.
Oh, right.
How much did you...
$39.88.
For a sporty Century Special, huh?
Right. See, my Buick dealer...
Merkel, from now on, it's International Paperclip and Merkel.
Mr. Merkel, the White House is calling on line 2.
Yes, sir. $39.88. Right. My Buick dealer. What about the vice presidency, sir?
You're always a winner at Buick. You know we've got a car for you. And when you drive a Buick, our reputation rides with you.
Be a winner with a 1976 Buick Century Special for just $39.88 at your Chicagoland and Northern Indiana Buick dealers.
It'll be the top of the order for the Cubs. Spearing, Kelleher, and Trio. First 3 hitters. Spearing singled in the 1st inning, walked in the 2nd. Cubs trail by 2 runs. Crafty southpaw Steve Carlton on the mound. Into the windup, the pitch. Fastball for a strike called over the outside corner. He loves to pitch to his battery mate, McCarver. Here's a swing and a foul, out of play. 2 strikes quickly now on Rob Spearing. He'll be followed by Kelleher. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 called over the outside corner. Spearing couldn't believe that Carlton could thread the needle that fast and right over the outside corner. 5 strikeouts for Carlton, and here's Kelleher at bat. 0 for 2. The pitch, a swing, a ground ball to Smith at third. Moves 1 step to his left, gloves it, throws to Tolan for the out. 2 outs. Carlton now is retired. 6 straight Cubs. Manny Trio. Trio is 0 for 2. Carlton into the windup. And the pitch. Curveball for a strike call. As he opened up with a curveball to Trio. The pitch, another curveball, but that one broke inside. Ball 1, strike 1. Nobody on base, 2 outs. There's the 3rd curveball in a row, and that one over the heart of the plate for a called strike 2. Carlton into the windup, working quickly. The pitch, fastball outside, just missing. It's now 2-2. Carlton, once again, is working quickly as soon as he gets that ball from McCarver. There's a swing and a ground ball pass. Boa into left field for a base hit. He just threw Trio one too many curveballs. That is the 5th hit for the Cubs. Now here's Morales at the plate. He represents the tying run. Tolan will hold Trio on at first base. Carlton into the stretch. First pitch to Morales. Strike call. Fastball. 0-1 to count now to Jerry. He was the hitting hero yesterday, beating the Phillies in the 12th inning. There's another pitch, identically in the same spot, right over the outside corner. Strike 2 called. After throwing 5 curveballs to Trio, Carlton has fired 2 fastballs past Morales. 0-2 pitch. Another fastball inside, and it's 1-2. Trio with a lead at first base. Here's the stretch by Carlton, and here's the pitch. There goes Trio. Here's a swing and a foul ball into the Cubs dugout. 1-2 the count on Morales. Trio returns to first base. Maddox is playing Morales in left center. Figuring Morales will try to pull the ball. Here's the pitch. There's one low, and it's ball 2, strike 2. Now, with the count all evened up, let's see what Trio will do at first base. He may take off. The stretch by Carlton. The throw to first, and Trio gets back safely. Phillies 2, Cubs nothing. 5th inning. The 2-2 pitch. As Carlton steps back away off of the mound, fakes a throw to first. Trio gets back. No throw. The pitch to the plate. Strike 3 called. Morales was caught with his bat on his shoulder as he's called out on strikes. In the 5th inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on base. After 5 complete innings of play, Philadelphia 2, Cubs nothing.
Is welcome on any team. He's the kind of a guy who's got the confidence to step right in and do just about any job. You can have that same kind of confidence when you've got a job to do around the house. Because when you pick up a skill power tool, you've just lost your amateur standing. The utility player on the skill team is the extra tool. It's a multi-purpose power tool with a burnout protective motor. And does it perform? It drills through metal, wood, and heavy stock. Drives in screws and reverses to take them out. Puts on or takes off nuts and bolts. It hammer drills and masonry, stone and brick. And with available accessories, it sharpens tools, grinds, buffs, sands, and polishes. It mortises doors, chisels wood. You can use it to remove paint, rust, plaster, even old tile. So, if you need an outstanding utility player for your do-it-yourself projects, pick up a Skill Extra Tool. And welcome to the pros. Mike Schmidt, Greg Luzinski, and Jay Johnstone will be the first 3 Phillies to come to bat against the Cubs here in the 6th inning, with Philadelphia out in front 2-0. They're battling for their lives right now. Been in the throes of a terrible, terrible slump, and the Philadelphia Phillies finding the hot breath of the Pirates right in the backs of their necks. Boy, for a long time this year, they look like the greatest team in baseball. But lately, they've been playing like a team that never should have been in contention. Schmidt, an infield single and a run batted in. And thrown out by Trio when he topped the ball his last time up. The right-hander takes the fastball. It's high for ball 1. Wind coming in from right. Rick kicks. Here's the pitch. Inside above the knees. Ball 2. No strikes. Smith with 7 homers here at Wrigley Field this year. 2-0 delivery. Takes it outside, ball 3. The most home runs in the majors hit by a player in the home grounds of the opposition is 9 in a season. 3-0 delivery. He takes strike inside corner, ball 3, strike 1. Rick 3-0 against this club this year. It's his 6th start against them, so they know him and he knows them. 3-1 delivery. Strike called, a fastball that Schmidt thought was a little high. But Sudol says it's in the strike zone and the count is full. 3-2 on him. Russell has not yet walked the batter. Mitterwald gives a sign. Here's the windup, 3-2 pitch. Swung out and missed for strike 3. Put it up and in on him. And he comes from a 3-0 count to fan him. That brings up Lazinski, who struck out to retire the side in the 3rd inning. 4 strikeouts by Russell. Greg is 0 for 2 today, 1 for 5 in the series. Wind up in the first pitch. Swung out a sinker that he bounces foul into the hands of a customer just on the first base side of the screen. Let's pause for station identification. This is the WGN Chicago Cubs Baseball Network.
This is WGN Radio in Chicago.
Mitterwald was hit by that bouncing foul, and Sudol, with his back to the pitcher out in front of the plate, dusting off the plate, stalling a little bit for Mitterwald to get himself collected again. Now we're ready to go. Wind up in the strike 1 delivery. Fastball in tight to the big guy right at the belt. Ball 1, strike 1. Here's the delivery. Strike called. He gave him a breaking ball that caught the inside corner, and the count goes to 1-2. Each team with 5 hits. 1-2 delivery. Checks his swing on a slider that missed outside, and he held up in time. So the count is level at 2-2. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau reporting. Randy Pye, their engineer today, and Don Albert, their engineer. 2-2 delivery. Curve is a little low. Ball 3, strike 2. And a happy birthday to a longtime Cub fan, Frank Zajac. Z-E-Z-A-J-A-C. Here's a swing and a tap foul right at the feet of the batter. Still 3-2. Bases are empty. Top of the 6th. And a surprising Cub lineup today because of injuries. 3-2 delivery. Swung on, he bounces 1 foul over the back of the third base coach, Billy DeMars, and a nice grab made by a customer who leaned out over the wall past the Cub dugout. Wallace, fairly deep for this hitter, deeper than he normally plays. 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Mitterwald fires it down to third. The Cubs pecking around. 2 gone. He has fanned the 3rd and 4th hitters in the lineup now. And it brings up Jay Johnstone, who is wearing Russell out. He has singled and tripled so far today. Led off the 4th inning with a triple down the left field line. And he scored. Left-hander takes, and there's the ball. Cleveland defeated Baltimore in their first game today, 5-1. 1-0 pitch, strike called, a good fastball. Palmer, who has won 21 games for the Orioles, the loser in that one. He's now 21-13. Strike called at a curveball. Ball 1, strike 2. Russell working quickly. 1-2 pitch, slashed foul into the box seats in the third base side. Ball 1, strike 2. Thomas got the win. Cleveland in that opener. He's 4-3. There's a fastball swung on, a liner over the head of Benny Trio. Leaped just as high as he could. And Johnstone is 3 for 3. has half of their 6 hits. Here's Tim McCarver, grounded out in the first inning, but in the fourth, he sent Morales back to the warning track to haul in his long sacrifice fly and brought in Johnstone with their second run of the afternoon. Russell in the stretch. McCarver swing, base hit, barely missed the runner at first base. Johnstone round second and holds. He had to hold up a moment there on first base, and that ball looked like it was going to drill a hole right through his chest. But he avoided the shot, and they have runners at first and second. Phillies now with 7 hits off of Rick. And Bobby Tolan, who has bounced out and struck out, steps into the batter's box. And Marshall is calling time. He wants to get some action going in the Cub bullpen, and he's going out to talk to Russell. He struck out the first 2 batters, went to a full count on him here in this inning. Now has yielded singles to Johnstone and McCarver. Welcome to the group from Fort Wayne, Indiana, 30 from the Emmanuel Missionary Church, and from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, group of 35, Ed Wharton with them. Fox River Grove, the Cary and Fox River Grove Fire Departments at Wrigley Field today. Some 40 of them. From Albany, Illinois, First Trust and Savings Bank of Albany, big group of 80. Elgin's Fraternal Order of Eagles, numbering some 40 in attendance this afternoon. And the Heister Company from Crawfordsville, Indiana, with Bob Terry in charge. They've got about 40. Marshall back in the dugout. Darrell Knowles and Joe Colbin throwing in the bullpen. Bobby Tolan, the veteran left-hander, stepping in. 2-0, Philadelphia in the top of the 6th with 2 out. First pitch. Swung out a miss. Good breaking ball to Tolan. Wallace a little bit shallower for Tolan than he was for Luzinski or Schmidt. Labby holds the bat straight up in the air. Cocks it high. Here's the pitch. Takes the fastball low and away. Ball 1, strike 1. Remember, Pittsburgh will be here for a doubleheader Tuesday and single games between the Cubs and Pittsburgh at Wrigley Field on Wednesday and Thursday to close out the homestand.
WGN Radio, Chicago.
1-1 pitch. Steps into it, swings, and drives it foul. Way down the right field side. He is way out in front of it. So the Cubs have a lot to say as to which team, Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, will represent the Eastern Division against Cincinnati in the playoffs first weekend of October. 1-2 pitch. Swung out, a bouncing ball over the pitcher's mound near second base. Keller has it, throws to first to Putnam. Comes off the bag, but he tags Tolan coming down the line to retire the side. And in the 6th, the Phillies, no runs, 2 hits, leave 2 men on. The Cubs come to bat against Carlton in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mitterwald is going to lead off. Philadelphia 2, the Cubs nothing.
Hello, General Finance, Friendly Bob Adams speaking.
Bob, it's about our bill bowl.
Your bill bowl?
Yeah, Bob. See, we got this bowl in the den where we keep all our bills.
Oh, I see.
Well, Miriam and I have been married 13 years, and we never seen the bottom of the bill bowl. We wonder what it looks like. Can you help us, Bob?
Certainly. A General Finance consolidation loan will clean out all those bills and leave you with one manageable monthly payment.
Hey, Bob, I knew you'd help.
Right.
Now that I know it's coming through, I want you to share something with me, Bob.
What's that?
I'm going to lift all these bills out of the bill bowl, and I'm going to tell you what the bottom of the bill bowl looks like.
Oh, I don't...
Bob?
Yeah?
It's a picture of a teddy, and he has a big spoon, and he's eating porridge.
That's nice. I'm just glad that you were...
There's a sly old fox looking in the window.
Well, that's cute. Remember, you can always get a little help from a friend at General Finance.
Uh-oh. I think he's going to take Teddy's porridge.
There are over 60 General Finance offices in the Chicagoland area. To borrow up to $10,000, call Friendly Bob Adams at Andover 32020.
Mitterwald twirling a bat over his head in the on-deck circle, waiting to lead off. Macedonia Baptist Church of Sterling, Illinois. 46 of them here. Cedric Patterson in charge. Woodland. There's a sheet two of the young girls are carrying. Says Woodland, FBA. Don't ask me what it means. Mitterwald swings, and he lifts a high pop up to the first baseman, Bobby Tilden. Steps over the foul line, makes the catch. About 10 feet past first, barely in foul territory, and Mitterwald goes out after the first pitch. That'll bring up Tyrone, who's popped up and looked at strike three. The only inning in which the Cubs have gone down in order is the fourth. They've left 7 men stranded. Tyrone takes the first pitch, and it's a strike to the right-hander. Carlton is fan 6. He's walked only 1. That was Morales. There's a curve, and it breaks into the dirt. Tyrone held up. Ball 1, strike 1. Well, when he comes over the top of that sharp-breaking curveball, it really explodes. There it is again, and he swings and misses. It starts up around the letters, and it winds up about at the knees. Ball 1, strike 2. The next pitch, a fastball, and he skips back away from it, low and inside. Ball 2, strike 2. Tyrone, wearing number 22, trying to get something started for the Cubs, who are trailing 2-0. Carlton delivers. Swing and a miss on another curveball, strike 3. He has now struck out 7 for the day and 161 for the year. Mostly this year, the Cubs have had pretty good success against Carlton. Their earned run average, or his earned run average against the Cubs for the year, coming into this with a very high one, over 5. Here's Putman. The rookie swings and misses. That's down and in on him. He's 0 for 2 today, making his first start for the Cubs at first base. Wind up the pitch, swung on a miss, a good fastball down and in on him. And he's looking at some pitches that I know he never saw either at Wichita or Midland this year. Carlton really bearing down. Wind up the delivery. Fastball outside. Ball 1, strike 2. Putman, just 22. He's celebrating a birthday in a week. Right-hander wearing number 8. Here's the pitch. Takes the fastball. It just misses inside at the knees. 2-2. Handers are scheduled to go here tomorrow. Jim Lomborg for the Phillies. Ray Burris for the Cubs. 2-2 pitch. Swung out a hard smash base hit off the dirt in the left field. And the rookie has his second major league hit. Well, with 2 out of the 5th, Trio got a hit. With 2 out in the 3rd, Mitterwald got a hit. With 2 out in the 2nd, Wallace and Russell got base hits. Sparing walk to load them up. But Kelleher struck out to retire the side. Only in the first inning did the Cubs get anybody on with less than 2 away. Here's Tyrus Wallace. Single and a strikeout so far. Curve swung on a miss. He'll throw the curve at different speeds. And he's had it exploding today, along with his good fastball. Big fellow's ready. Here's a pitch. Fastball, letter high strike. 0-2. At Philadelphia, they were calling Tarzan the bearded jackrabbit for his sensational catches, particularly against Mike Schmidt. 0-2 pitch. Looks at a ball that just misses around the knees. Ball 1, strike 2. Pirates still chasing him, but the heat is on. Curveball swung on, and it's a high pop-up. Davy Cash, the second baseman, waving everybody way in the grass. He's got it. Squeezes it to retire the Cubs in the 6th inning. Pattern the same, a 2-out single. No runs, what a hit. 1 man left on. Cubs have left 8 men stranded. And at the end of 6, Philadelphia 2, the Chicago Cubs 0.
At McDonald's, we do it all for you. You're the one.
Here it is the weekend.
You'd like to treat somebody.
I don't mind telling you, I am exhausted.
Well, you worked hard.
You bet.
Do something fun.
I'm going to take you to breakfast today.
Get up. Walk to the kitchen. Open the door. Into the car. We're going to McDonald's for breakfast.
At McDonald's, our hotcakes and sausage, scrambled eggs and sausage, and egg McMuffin are delicious. Very inexpensive. The kids will have a terrific time, and Mom doesn't have to cook.
Nobody's cooking. Nobody's cleaning up.
Must admit, I got a little hysterical.
I'm a swimming instructor, and I want to say that McDonald's is a lifesaver. It's really true.
So start your day. On weekend Wednesday, you deserve a breakfast today.
You got it.
At McDonald's,
You can be a nice guy sometimes.
On Saturdays.
we do it all for you.
Quantity, quality, and low price. I think that's the 3 R's if there were an R in any of those words.
We do it all for you.
Eighth man in the Philadelphia batting order these days is Larry Bulla. He was their cleanup hitter much of the year. He's 0 for 2 today. Yesterday had a triple to tie up the ball game in the 9th inning. First pitch. There he takes. Fastball outside. Ball 1. A lot of Philadelphia fans over in the first base side. Hurting a couple of streamers over there. Here's the windup, the pitch. Swung on, ground ball. In and out of the glove of Russell. Scrambles, picks it up, throws. He's got it. Russell, a good fielding pitcher. Had the glove down for that ground ball. Got off his glove and then went behind him as he stretched out for it. But he scrambled in a hurry. Said, what do you mean? He scrambled in a hurry. He's a big guy, but he can move. Good reactions. Boa is retired, and that brings up Carlton. He swings, taps a little foul ball right near the plate. Strike 1 count in the pitcher. Russell in his career coming into this game is 1 game below the 500 mark. He won 61 and lost 62. Now the windup and the pitch. Carlton takes the fastball inside. Ball 1, strike 1. Phillies with 7 hits, the Cubs with 6. The ball, it's a little low, a sinker, 2-1. Base is empty, 1 away. There's a swing and a high bouncing ball. Kelleher in the second half has it. Long throw, dug out of the dirt nicely by Putman. And Carlton is retired. Kelleher's throw sunk into the dirt. Kid over there looks like he's been around that position all his life, doesn't he?
He handled that one perfectly and relaxed.
Yeah.
One-handed, picked up the low throw.
Originally a catcher, but he got in a lot of work at Wichita this year as a first baseman. Maddox doubled and scored to lead off the ball game. Since then, he's flied to center and to right. Swings and he hits one down to right field line. It's curving and going foul over the head of the Philadelphia bullpen. That could have been trouble. 0-1 the count. Bill Matlock out of action today. Injured his back slightly in a fall down some stairs at his new home. He hopes to be able to play tomorrow. Monday, of course, still nursing a bad back, and he'd like to get into action tomorrow. Well, it's been kind of a makeshift lineup for Jim Marshall and the Cubs today. 0-1 delivery. Takes ball outside, 1-1 to Maddox. The Bills still with a fairly comfortable lead in the batting championship that he's seeking again, and he would also like to get back in there. There's a swing and a tap foul. Goes into the hands of a customer in a striped sports shirt. Johnny on the spot. He is just in the third base side of the screen and back in about 5 rows. Here's a swing and a deep drive into center field. Tires Wallace on the bicycle. He's out there and he makes the catch in deep right center to retire Philadelphia in the 7th inning. 3 up and 3 down. 7th inning stretch. Cubs coming to bat. Russell is to lead off. Then the top of the Cub batting order. It is still the Philadelphia Phillies 2, the Chicago Cubs nothing.
Well, now you can go to your True Value Hardware store for a nutritious meal for your lawn and for some lawn care advice that may seem unusual, but could mean an unusually attractive lawn for you later this fall or early next spring. Here's why fall feeding with Scott's Turf Builder is so important. Feeding your lawn in fall helps its root system develop. That's essential for winter survival and for early greening next spring. It also helps thicken your lawn, making it harder for weeds to take hold next year. And fall feeding with Scott's Turf Builder helps your lawn recover from summer drought, disease, and insect damage. True Value Hardware stores also suggest that you take time now to reseed thin or bare spots in your lawn with Scott's Family Lawn Seed, designed for use in sunny or moderately shady areas. Scott's Lawn Care products are just some of the many values at participating True Value Hardware stores. True Value, more than just a name, it's their way of doing business.
Rick Russell to lead off. Good hitter, 1 for 2 today. And the Cubs need a pair of runs to tie it up. Carlton in the windup. Russell swings, hammers a drive down the left field line. It is a fair ball. Going for extra bases down into the corner. Big guy pumping around second. He makes a big turn and scrambles back to second base, and it's a good thing. He went sliding back in with a double down in the corner in left field. That brings the crowd to its feet. He's a little bit winded. If he had more speed, he might have been able to make that into a triple. But for all of his ponderous size, he moves pretty good. The ball wound up way down in the corner before Luzinski could dig it out. Well, Russell, 2 for 3 today. That's his 3rd double of the year. Here's Sperring. Singled in the 1st inning, walked in the 2nd, struck out in the 5th. The pitch. Looked like he had a notion about it, and he took a strike, a fastball. Top of the batting order. Carlton in stretch. Here's the delivery. Swung on. Ground ball, takes a high bounce. Speared by Boa. The long throw to first retires it. For just a moment, that ball looked like it was going to take one of those Parton turf hops. But Boa leaped and used all of his size that time to keep that ball from going over his head. Sperring is out. Runner still at second, and that brings up Mick Kelleher. Had it been on a carpet, such as they play on at Philadelphia, that would have been way over his head. Steve Carlton fired. Fastball swung on a line drive, base hit. Dunlop waving Russell to the plate. Luzinski coming up with a throw. It's coming into the plate. It's cut off. Now, Kelleher caught between first and second. The throw to Davy Cash by Schmidt. Cash chasing him back. He eludes him once. Now he is called out as second base umpire Bruce Fromming says that when he dove down to avoid Davy Cash, he left the baseline. And so he was automatically out. Now, that's a shame because that's the tying run that he represented there. And he made too long a turn. He had to keep an eye on where that throw was coming in from Luzinski. And as soon as Schmidt had cut it off, he had to be getting back to first base. That's the kind of a base running mistake we can't afford, Lou.
No, and Kelleher, in passing first base, knew that Tolan was right there. Normally, on a hit to left field, the third baseman is the cutoff man, and the first baseman remains there. This is something that the veteran Kelleher actually knows, but he was just anxious, I guess, and wanting to get the second base on the throw to the plate.
Well, there are 2 out, and the bases are empty. It's 2-1 Philadelphia. Trio swings, and he fouls a fastball back out of play. Mick, with that base hit, drives in his 19th run of the year. Russell in the dugout. It's a swing and a miss. Strike two. Fastball in on him. Those are the kind of base running mistakes the Phillies were making against the Cubs last week over there. And they made a costly one against the Pirates that cost them. Fastball, he wastes it low and inside. Ball one, strike two. Two gone. Cubs batting in the seventh. Carlton from the windup. Here's the pitch. Outside. Ball two, strike two. Trio singled in the fifth. 1 for 3 today. 2-2 delivery. Over the top of the fastball, swung on, and he pops it up. First baseman, Bobby Tolan, in foul territory near the coach's box, squeezes it to retire the side. 1 run. Russell a double. Coming in on Kelleher's one-out single. And nobody left on the bases. At the end of 7, Philadelphia 2 and the Cubs 1.
From the very first day our brewery was opened, Heileman's Old Style has been fully poisoned, naturally carbonated in the traditional Old World way. Poisoning is the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Most expensive because poisoning takes more time. A pure brewing, double brewing art that Old Style insists on using to this very day. When you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. But when you brew a beer twice, you've got a great light beer. And that, in essence, is what poisoning is all about. Sure, we could use shortcuts, but we don't. And we won't. Because at Old Style, we don't aim to make the most beer, only the best. That's why Old Style has been fully poisoned, naturally carbonated since 1853. Try Old Style and taste the difference poisoning makes. G. Heileman Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Well, let's hope that Russell's tour of the bases didn't weaken the big guy. He'll be facing the 2, 3, and 4 men in the Philadelphia batting order here in the 8th inning. A note here from Joliet, Illinois, from Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Thomas. Brought their son Frank to the Cup game today for his 5th birthday present. That's pretty doggone good. Well, the fellow's seeing his 3rd Major League Baseball game. He's already a sports nut. And Mr. Thomas tells us that he won those tickets to today's game, and Bob Elson's named the Cub and Sox Stars contest. I sent in some entries on that thing, Lou, by golly, and I didn't hear from the old commander.
I think you just patted the ballot box.
Siddall out talking to Russell. It's all right. Gives him a little more of a breather out there. Davy Cash, 1 for 3 today. Yesterday, produced a run batted in on a ground out. Singled with 1 out in the 3rd inning today. Got as far as 2nd, and that was it. Now the windup in the pitch. Takes it the ball outside. Ed may have gone out there to stall because the game is on national television, and sometimes they need a little extra time between innings for their commercials. 1-0 pitch. Takes it outside. 2-0. Nobody throwing in the Cub bullpen, but I would suspect that if Cash gets on, they'll get somebody up in a hurry. 2-0 delivery. He takes the strike. Ball 2, strike 1. Oak Lawn Athletic Club. Here today, some 40 of them from Chicago. Sidearm fastball swung out. He hits a ground ball to Trios. It's going to be an easy out. Picks it up, gives that little wrist flip over to first. Cash bouncing out of the sinker from Rick. That brings up Mike Schmidt. Drove in a run with his infield single in the 1st inning. Thrown out on a good play by Trio in the 3rd, and he struck out leading off the 6th inning. 1 for 8 in the series for Schmidt, and that's a single. Rick kicks. First pitch, a strike called, a curveball. Came in and caught the inside corner. He went to 3-0 on Schmidt in the 6th before striking him out. Walked nobody so far today. Fastball, it's a little high. Ball one, strike one. Phillies here tomorrow, off day Monday. Pittsburgh here for a doubleheader Tuesday, and single games Wednesday and Thursday. 1-1 delivery. Curve, and he swung and fouled it off of Sudol. Plate umpire. That shook him up. National League umpires wear the chest protectors under their shirts, but this one was right off the side of Sudol's mask. Might have to shake him a bit. He's an excellent umpire, one of the best we have seen. They're showing Mitterwald where that grazed the mask. And he tells Russell, come on, pitch, let's go. Count, ball one, strike two. Schmidt has stepped out of the batter's box for a moment. Bases are empty with one away. Philadelphia leading in the eighth, 2-1. Now the pitch swung on. Hard ground ball left side. Deep in a hole. Keller from the edge of the grass along through. He's got him at first base. Rick Kelleher about 15 feet inside the third base foul line, had a foot on the outfield grass. And he really displayed a good arm with a long throw to nail Schmidt. Came right over the top with it. And Mike, a good base runner. So the bases are empty for Greg Luzinski. Two gone. He has struck out twice today and hit into a force play. Greg 0 for 3. Russell's first pitch is strike. Took one just about knee-high. Kind of altercation in the stands way down the left field line, attracting the attention of the Cub bullpen crew and several of the security people. Here's the pitch. Takes it outside. The Umpires Association of South Elgin here today with our good friend Torchy Pellet in charge. 2-1 delivery. Takes it high. And from Lamont, Illinois, the White Eagles Social Club. Some 41 of them. Here's the pitch. Luzinski swings, ground ball. Keller at shortstop. He's got it in the dirt. Here's the peg. In plenty of time to retire. Philadelphia in order on 3 ground balls of the 8th. So the base running apparently did not hurt Russell at all. The Cubs come to bat. Bottom of the 8th. Philadelphia 2, the Cubs 1.
Mr. Lundquist.
Yes, stewardess.
I heard you talking about the terrific deal you got on the new Buick Skylark.
Yes, my Buick dealer.
That's the sporty one, isn't it? With the economical V6?
Right, see, my Buick dealer.
Want to come up to first class? I'll kick someone out.
No.
This is your captain speaking, and seat 16B is Mr. Lundquist, who just made a terrific deal on a Buick Skylark. It's the one that's so much fun to drive.
Hey, all I can say is my Buick dealer.
I brought you 2 more steak dinners, Mr. Lundquist. Does your Skylark have a fancy wheel cover?
Yes.
He has a fancy wheel cover!
Mr. Lundquist, I'm the captain. Would you like to come up and sit with me, sir? I'd love to hear about your deal on that Skylark, and I'll fly you any place you want to go. Akron, Pittsburgh. You ever been to Cleveland?
You're always a winner at Buick. You know we've got a car for you. And when you drive a Buick, our reputation rides with you.
Be a winner with a sporty Buick Skylark at your Chicagoland and Northern Indiana Buick dealers.
Harry Martin gone in to play left field. That's a defensive move that Ozark has made frequently this year. Replacing Luzinski. Gary Morales leading off against Carlton. Walked semi-intentionally in the first inning. Flied out to Luzinski. Made a fine catch on his line drive up near the wall in foul territory. And he looks at the first pitch of the ball. Then he looked at strike 3 in the 5th inning. Curve, and it's in for a strike. Ball 1, strike 1. Carlton winds. Fastball. Strike called. And he smoked it in. Come on, Jerry. Just look for the ball. Wind up, 1-2 delivery. Fastball, outside and low. Ball 2, strike 2. Streator, Illinois. The Woodland Future Business Leaders of America here in the group. 2-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3, called over the outside corner. That's twice he's caught him looking. One away. 8 strikeouts for Carlton. That brings up Mitterwald. 1 for 3 today. Takes the first pitch, it breaks, but not enough. Misses outside and high. Ball 1. We need a bell ringer right now to tie it up. Swings and he misses. Had a good cut. Ball 1, strike 1. Here's the windup pitch. Swung on and missed. There was a bad pitch. It was out of the strike zone, low and inside. And Mitterwald took a cut at it. He is in the hole, 1-2. Carlton ready. Here's a delivery. Low and outside with the fastball. He turned that one over. Ball 2, strike 2. Southpaw wheels. There's a swing, and didn't have much of a cut. He hits a high foul back of the plate. McCarver off of the mask, chases it to the backstop, can't get to it. It's onto the net. Still 2-2. Base is empty with 1 away. The Cubs have out-hit the Phillies 8-7, but trail where it counts 2-1. Left 8 men on. 2-2 pitch. Goes after a high one, fouls it back out of play. He's still alive. 2-2. Carlton in the windup. Fastball a little bit high, and he laid off. Ball 3, strike 2. Wayne Tyrone in the on-deck circle. Here's the pitch. Low. Ball 4. That's the same pitch he got him to go after for strike 2. This time, Mitterwald wouldn't chase it.
WGN Radio, Chicago.
See if we get a pinch runner for him at first base. Don't see anybody coming out of the dugout. Wayne Tyrone, the batter. First pitch, the rookie, a wild swing and a miss. Jumped all over a curveball. Mitterwald with a pretty good lead at first base. He better be careful. Here's the pitch. Swung on it, drive it to center field. Mitterwald will get to second base, and that's it. Oh! Ball fumbled by Baddock. Picks it up. Throws wildly towards third. That should be a hit and an error. That's what it is. Maddox coming in to pick it up. Mitterwald had pulled up at second base, ready to stop. But when Maddox had the ball bounce away from him, had to go back to get it, Mitterwald went into third. The kind of a mistake that has been costing the Phillies for the last 3 weeks. Let's see if it costs them here. Northwestern University Wildcats lost today at North Carolina. North Carolina 12, Northwestern nothing. Now, Davey Rosello is going to run for Mitterwald at third base. That's the tying run. Rookie Ed Putman stepping into the batter's box and a chance to drive at his first run in the majors. Stretch the pitch. Right-hander swings. Ground ball to third. Schmidt goes to second. Here's the relay. A double play. And the Phillies are out of the jam in the 8th. Putman bounces into a double play. Ooh, that hurts. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 man left on. At the end of 8, it is still the Phillies 2, the Cubs 1.
You know the guys that play this game for a living, day in and day out, the professional, They rely pretty heavily on professional equipment, a special glove or a favorite bat that gives them the kind of performance they need to do the job. Now that brings us to Skill Power Tools. Skill makes hammer drills, warm drive, circular saws, rotoset hammers, sanders, routers, you name it. And you'll find just about all of these Skill tools in the hands of pros working on job sites and in workshops all over the country. Because Skill has the reputation for being a really professional quality tool. They have the power and the precision that make for professional results. Work you can be proud of. And best of all, you can buy Skill Power Tools yourself at your local do-it-yourself counter. So, next time you buy a power tool, buy Skill. When you pick up a Skill Power tool, you've just lost your amateur standing. Welcome to the pros.
We'll have a new catcher. And Bittner going to play first base, looking to see whether Putman, who's been playing first, is going to come in to do the catching or whether it'll be Steve Swisher. Rosello had done the running for Mitterwald. Out in the right field bleachers, it is going to be Putman catching. They got a big sign, some Philly fans, white on red. It says, "Come on, Jay, make it your day." For Jay Johnstone, of course, their right fielder. And he's going to be leading off here in the ninth. Oh, those double plays. They look so good when your team comes up with them. And so depressing when they hit into them. Still 2-1. Johnstone, 2 singles and a triple today, and a run scored. He's 3 for 3. Takes the first pitch for Brick. It's outside, a ball. Yesterday, Jay was 1 for 4. One-0 delivery. Low, ball 2. He started today hitting .321. He's put a lot of points on. 2-0 pitch. Swung on a deep drive in left center field. It looks like he's going to be 4 for 4. Bounces up against the wall. Johnstone has a double. 2 singles, a triple, and a double for Jay. That one deep into left center field. Boy, Russell has been no problem for him at all. Now McCarver due to bat. We'll have a pinch runner. Big Ollie Brown will stay in the play right field, I'm sure. Is running for Johnstone. Got himself a perfect day. Paid attendance today just under the 16,000 mark. Paid 15,938. And the Cubs now just under the 980,000 mark in paid attendance at home for the year. Good turnout tomorrow. Could put them over the million mark. McCarver putting the bat out there to bunt. Takes the fastball high. Ball 1. That's a big run for the Phillies at second base. 2-1 score. Keller playing behind the runner at second, trying to keep him close. Here's the pitch to McCarver. Swung on at a deep drive. Wallace on the bicycle. Way out. Way out. He makes the two-headed catch. Wheels and throws, but it'll be too late. Ollie Brown had wisely held at second base, tagged up. And he advances to third after the catch in deep right center field. Carr is wearing a lot of tape around his chest and ribs. Had a bit of an injury and a collision at the plate. But it didn't hamper his running ability. Now the infield will come in. Bobby told him to be the hitter, and he and Boa were in deep conversation before Bobby steps into the batter's box. Tolan so far is 0 for 3. Grounded out twice and struck out once. And here is where the Cubs need a ground ball right at it, pulled in infielder. He swings and he chops a foul ball in the first pitch. From Aurora, welcome to the group from Caterpillar Tractor Company, the Great Lakes Naval Base, a group that we mentioned earlier, some 45 of them here. Cardinals beat Montreal today 4-1. Their first game. Here's a swing and a tap foul, rolls into the Cub dugout and out of it. 0-2 on Tolan. Ollie Brown at third with one away in the top of the ninth. Phillies battling for their lives. Russell into the stretch. Here's the pitch. Tolan swings. Bounces one over the pitcher's mound. Brown is holding. Russell drops the ball. Picks it up and has no play. A very high bouncer over the mound. And Ollie Brown was about 6 or 7 feet off a third, and he stopped. It is an infield single. Runners at first and third. I was surprised, Lou. I thought he'd be trying to come in on that.
I did, too. The ball hitting that high, he could have scored easily. Russell makes the play.
Yeah. I don't know whether DeMars was hollering to him, the third base coach, or not. But he just froze down there. Maybe a big break for the Cubs. Let's see how it turns out. Boa the batter. Tolan good speed at first base. He's 0 for 3. He swings. Ground ball right side. Pass Creel. And a run scores. Here's Tolan going to third. There'll be no play on him. With the infield pulled in, Boa pulled the first pitch to the first base side where Manny Trio dove for it but couldn't get to it. They now have made it 3-1. Still one out. Runners at first and third. Boa drove in a run yesterday. Now one today, and he's batted in 43 for the year. Carlton stepping in to bat for himself. The Cubs will have to be alert. Could try a squeeze. Could let him swing away. He's a good hitter. Infield in. Runner at first goes. He swings. Bounces one out towards the mound. Runner at third holding. Russell up at the peg over to first base for the out to Bittner. Now they have runners at second and third. Three to 1 Philadelphia. Top of the batting order up, Gary Maddox. They got one run on 3 hits in the first inning, picked up a run on a triple and a sacrifice fly. The triple by Jay Johnstone in the fourth. Now a run here in the ninth, and so far they have 3 hits in this inning. Balk is called. Russell has had a balk called on him by Bruce Fromming. He said he had stepped off the pitching rubber. Fromming says, no, you had not.
I thought he stepped back off of the mound.
That's I did too. And that's what he is claiming. Marshall is out there trying to protect his pitcher. He is between him and Fromming.
He might have broke his hands before he stepped back. And that's probably why. That's very technical.
Yeah. I think, Lou, that's what Fromming called on him. He didn't hesitate in making the call. Fromming is indicating, okay, he stepped off, but he did break before that because the runner in third had made a little bit of a move. Boy, Marshall is steaming. Russell carrying his clean out to Jerry Dale, third base umpire. But Fromming's call is going to stand. That is another big run. Boy, Marshall is hot. Now he's getting at Jerry Dale, the third base umpire. But I can't see him overruling Fromming, Lou.
No. The umpire that calls the balk, any umpire can call a balk, so there's no need of arguing with Dale or asking Dale about the play.
So Tolan waved to the plate, and Boa is waved to third. And the Phillies have a little more breathing room. They now lead 4-1. Now, Russell and Marshall going back out to talk to Fromey. And the crew chief, Ed Sudol, out there with them. And I think Russell is getting hotter and hotter by the second. Remember earlier when he was thrown out of a game here with Joe Morgan at bat? Cincinnati was here. Russell thought he'd had little Joe struck out on a couple of pitches that were called balls, and then Morgan stroked a home run, and Russell came off the mound and hollered to plate umpire Johnny Kibler, "You missed two." Kibler just threw him out of the ball game. Now, the argument is going on, or the discussion. And Sudol, the crew chief, stepped in between Russell and Marshall. Said, "You've had your say. The man called it a balk. That's the way he saw it, and that's the way it's going to stand. Let's get on with the ball game." And the crowd beginning to boo. It's their second run of the inning. And it's now 4-1, with Maddox stepping in, a runner at third. Cubs have had their problems with Bruce Fromming over the years anyway. Gaudy, heavy-set little fellow from up Milwaukee way. Marshall still hollering to him from the Cub dugout, as was Coach Harry Dunlop. Now the windup. Maddox swings, pops it up. Should retire the side. Trio calling for it in the grass at first base. Look out! Boy, he almost missed it. Reached out at the last moment. The ball bounced out of his glove up in the air, but he had both hands up there. And while he juggled it, he then finally squeezed it to retire the side. But they pick up two big runs on 3 hits, a balk, one man left on, and the Cubs come to bat in the bottom of the 9th inning with Philadelphia leading 4-1.
Hello, General Finance. Friendly Bob Adams speaking.
Bob, should the garage door go up when I use the electric can opener?
What?
Or the toast pop up whenever I vacuum?
Who's this?
Lillian Kappelmeyer here, Bob. Remember you gave Murray, my husband, a loan for electronics school?
Oh, yes, Lillian. How's it,
Should my electric toothbrush brush every time the door buzzer buzzes?
Does it?
Only if the sump pump's running.
Boy, your husband's really a whiz.
All he has to do is change a light bulb.
And now?
Wait a minute, Bob. I have to preheat the oven.
Oh, cooking dinner, huh?
No. That turns on all the streetlights on our block.
Maybe Murray should have gone to that upholstery school.
Bob, we need a home repair loan very desperately.
Home repair to...
Repair all the electronic wizardry of Thomas Alva Kappelmeyer.
Well, that home repair loan is practically on its way. Lillian, do I hear water running?
Yes, I'm standing in the shower, Bob. It's the only way I can get the telephone to work. Gotta hang up now. Starting to get pruny.
It's all right. You can always get a little help from a friend at General Finance.
There are over 60 General Finance offices in the Chicagoland area. To borrow up to $10,000, call friendly Bob Adams at Andover 32020.
Cubs coming to bat. Tarzan Wallace will lead off here in the 9th. I'm reminded that Joe Garagiola, who's trying to prepare a show for the World Series telecast, is looking for recordings of the old St. Louis Cardinal Gas House game. And he's not having much luck because they had a group there that of players that played some pretty weird musical instruments. Some of them were legit, some were rather unheard of. And he is asking for help. And if any of you listening in, particularly in the network, know where any of those recordings are, I think one of them was the Wabash Cannonball that they had done, contact us. Get them over to Joe, or you can send them to him at NBC New York. That pitch is strike. Wallace had looked at the first one, and this one barely caught the corner on him. He's in the hole. Fastball outside. Wallace 1 for 3. We need a few base runners now. 1-2 pitch. Fastball swung on a miss for strike 3. And Carlton looks like he is just going right out after him. Wants it badly. He is 2 outs away from his 18th win, and Rick Russell getting a fine hand as he steps in to bat for himself. They ought to give him an ovation. Here's the wind-up to pitch. Takes strike right at the letters, apparently. He thought it was a little high, and he drops the bat. Didn't mean to drop it. He has a single and a double and has scored the only run by the Cubs so far today. Cubs trailing 4-1. The pitch. Fastball. Good swing and a miss. Phillies now with 10 hits. The Cubs with 9. Wind up the pitch. Outside with a fastball. 1-2. 1 error in the ball game, and that by the Phillies. Cubs had opportunities early, but couldn't cash in. 1-2 pitch. High and away. 2-2. Left 2 men on in the first inning. Left the bases loaded in the second. 2-2 delivery. Swung on a miss for strike 3. Ten strikeouts now by Carlton. Giving up 9 hits. 2 gone in the ninth. And the Phillies will be able to breathe a little more comfortably if they hold on to this one. We'll have the rubber game here tomorrow. 2 good pitchers, Burris and Lomborg. Now a lot of the fans heading for the exits. First pitch, a strike to Sperring. There's a swing and a miss at a good fastball. He's not wasting any time, not trying to be cute. He just wants, yeah.
He's still got good stuff.
He sure has. He may start again tomorrow.
I hope not.
0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. The game is over, and he did it. The Carver runs out to congratulate him. And here comes Danny Ozark. He'll enjoy his meal a little bit more tonight. Ray Ripplemeyer, their pitching coach, out there to pat him on the fanny. Final is the Phillies even it up. Philadelphia 4, the Cubs 1.